Steve Gamache here with the Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and what we're looking at this time is the Moritaka Aogami Super Kiritsuke 240mm knife. And this line of knives uses a core steel of what's known as Aogami or blue paper super reactive high carbon steel from Hitachi. Moritaka takes this to a pretty high hardness of about 64, maybe 65 Rockwell, so they treat it pretty hard. So it has excellent edge retention, and there are people that just love this steel. Moritaka does a really nice job with their Aogami Super, their AS steel, and it's top flight. So it's one thing you're getting here is just awesome core steel. Again, it is hard, so you've got to be careful with your technique, but you'll be rewarded with edge retention and it'll get super stinking sharp. The construction is a reactive iron cladding on either side of that core steel, so you have a 3-layer sandwich construction, and the cladding does have a protective finish known as a kudo-uchi or blacksmith finish. Moritaka is not known for the super durable KU finishes, so this will wear off sometimes fairly quickly. Don't be alarmed. It's not a big deal. You'll just have a little more, iron cladding to let that thing patina. So it's definitely, this is a reactive knife. There's no stainless on it at all. You can see this is a cool look. The Kiritsuke is traditionally a single bevel knife, but these are kind of Kiritsuke Gyoto hybrids. So they do two bevel, it's a double bevel knife, and it's got that aggressive reverse sword tip on it. They're very flat profile. If you like to rock, do not buy this knife. This is a flat profile. It is not for rocking. You'll see that in a few minutes. The weight on these will vary a little bit, as will the dimensions, because they're handmade. This particular one's about 180 grams or 6.3 ounces. And the edge length on this is right about 240 or about 9.45, about 9.5 inches. The overall length about 15.6. The spine thickness coming out of the handle on this one, these will vary. This one's about 3.1 millimeters, and then it thins down a little bit as you go. And then with this style of knife, you pretty much hold, I don't know, I'm saying 2.5 maybe, 2.4, 2.5, and you hit that turn, that hard angle on that reverse sword point, and then it doesn't really thin out until you hit the very tip with the grind. So when you hit the grind, it gets really thin, and the tip works nicely on these because it's really skinny right at the edge where the grind is. The blade height on this one is about 49 millimeters at the back of the blade. So you've got plenty of board clearance, no problem. The handle's a lightweight handle. They will change these over time. At this particular juncture, they're using octagonal ambidextrous hoe wood with a buffalo horn ferrule, and the handle's quite light, so that's going to bring the balance point on this up a little bit. Here it is. In terms of if I was pinch gripping, for me, my pinch grip's a little bit behind that. If you've got bigger hands, it might be pretty close to the pinch grip. What that does is gives you a little bit of weight forward bias on your balance point, or blade forward, I should say. And so you've got a little bit of fairly nice chopping power with that. So despite the blade being not all that heavy, the circumference of the handle is about 3 inches or 75, 76 millimeters right here where the ferrule and the wood meet. Pretty standard size, and you've got a little bit of spot there if you want to stick your finger in there for a pinch grip, so it pinches pretty nicely. With this particular series of knives, they weld on a stainless tang for durability, so if moisture gets in there, it's not going to rust out like it would with an iron tang, although they do have a fair amount of gap in this handle install where they drilled out for the tang, so I would put some sealer in there, whatever you want to use. Some people use beeswax. I use sometimes something called JB Quick Weld or JB Clear Weld. I had to cut away there. I was trying to think of that, and I didn't want to do the whole stinking video over again. So anyway, JB Clear Weld or Quick Weld is something I use to put on there, but you can use epoxy, silicone, wax, whatever you want to do to seal it up. But anyway, so let's take a close-up look at the blade. These are really cool looking. You've got the primary bevel off the grind, and then they have a small secondary bevel. Bevel was done pretty nice, but it's I'll give it a 4 out of 10 on the edge. It really needs to be finished sharpened, which is not uncommon. But here's your bevel. There is a cladding line. It's really hard to see, but there is a cladding line there where the cladding meets the core steel. You've got an embossed Maker's Mark kanji on there. The left side of the blade has the kanji and the right side of the blade is plain. I think I'll do it this way just so we can do it for the video purposes. You can see your stainless Tang. These get real skinny right at the edge. So right at the edge, they get really skinny. The grind on this one, it's got a little bit harder shoulder on the right side of the blade. The left side of the blade has a more gentle shoulder. So I'm going to say this might be oriented towards a righty in terms of food release. It'll kind of pop off the right better. But as long as you don't have too tight of a grip, it really shouldn't steer much for you. I used the 210 version of this a while back, and I had no steering problems. And the 210 is thinner than this, but that thing was an absolute laser, man. It just flew through stuff. It was unbelievable. This one's not going to quite laser like that, but it's still going to perform very well with some more length and some more heft. And fit and finish is good on the blade. You've got a little bit of relief on the choil's neck and the spine, so it's comfortable right out of the box. It's got that slightly rustic feel. This is a very old knife-making company, so they've been around for centuries, actually, in their history. So this has a long lineage to it of knife making, which is a cool side benefit or side story to it. Here's your profile, and like I said, there is no belly on this. That's not what this knife is about. So it is flat, flat, flat. It's really nice profile, but you can see there's just an ever so slight curve to it. Great for chopping, push, pull, cutting, guillotine, and glide, that kind of stuff. You are not going to rock with this. I can get about right there. So it'll do small stuff, but you got to watch it so you don't mess that tip up. I'm going to go dinking that tip into a cutting board and pop it and break it. But anyway, this is just a really cool knife. And if you like a long flat spot, this knife acts like a bigger knife because the flat spot is so long. So you can chop through some long, big ingredients with big products with this thing. So really cool knife. So this is the Moritaka Arugami Super or AS Kiritsuke 240mm knife.